All right, viewers. So, first of all, Happy New Year's. It's a couple days after New Year's. Back to work. Yeah. So what I got here is an '07, maybe an '08 Honda Accord with a no start. I guess just before the New Year's. No parts in stock, but they have parts in stock now. But yeah, so just took a look up in the parking lot. I can hear the starter clicking. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear the other than the other noises. You can hear a starter solenoid clicking. No start. The other thing that I also noticed is hear the buzzing. Needs an ignition switch. So that might be an issue down the road. So I also recommended a starter and also a ignition switch, just to take care of both things while they're here. So first of all, let's start with the starter. While in the parking lot, doing some quick checks, making sure you can hear the starter solenoid click. Also rotated the crank, right, to make sure it spins freely, because there was actually one time where I put I put a 19 mil on the crank bolt to see if I can turn it over, and I basically stood on that bolt and it wouldn't even move. Ended up being that starter just fully engaged into the torque converter, or like the teeth on the torque converter, and it was preventing the motor from turning over. So had to take the starter motor out just to verify that, and the starter was just engaging the torque converter the entire time. So yeah, always you want to always double check and see if you can turn the engine over by hand, and just in case. So anyways, I'll bring you over to the hood, underneath the hood, and this starter on these Accords are pretty easy. I just remove the intake manifold and it's plenty of room. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, I just pop this guy out, and what I do is I remove this half of the intake manifold to get to the starter right on top there. So pretty simple. Just remove all your vacuum lines, move your harnesses out of the way, take the snorkel out, and then unbolt this part of the intake manifold, and then you can get to the starter on top. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the manifold out. It's pretty simple. A couple of bolts for this. There's one bolt for the bracket underneath the intake manifold that you gotta take off. Connectors. There's a little push tab for the harness that this thing clips into, right? A couple of vacuum lines, which is this guy right here, right? Unbolt the brackets off of it. One of the this one's for the brake booster, one bolt for that. I just leave the throttle body hanging there so I don't have to deal with the coolant lines. And then your starter is just right here. You can there's the bolt there, and then there's that other bolt behind there, and then there's your big positive cable, and then your connector for the starter solenoid. So yeah, pretty simple. Just make sure when you're trying to crack this bolt, you don't break the connector off the knock sensor back here. That's about it. I usually just disconnect it. Make sure it doesn't, you don't break it or anything. But yeah, pretty much pretty simple. And if you're deciding to remove this positive terminal off first before you take the bolt off, because this pipe is in the way, I just use this thing with a bit of a what do you call it? It just sticks out a little bit, and you can get under that top nut and just crack it loose, and you just run it off by hand. There you go. The new OEM starter is in. So now for the rest of everything else. And just like that, everything's back together. Now let's put back the negative Brady terminal back on, and then make sure it starts. Alright, let's see if it starts. And it starts, so we're good. Now we just gotta fix the buzzing noise. Yeah, so if you push in and then turn, it'll be fine. But if you just regular, it'll buzz, and it also does crank a little bit. Okay, so once you remove the cover, it's held in by 3 screws on the bottom, and then the top part just clips onto the top. And your ignition switch is just right here. So what you need is to remove that screw, and then there's one screw that's a little bit more difficult to get at, and that would be down here. Let's see if I can see it. It is right underneath that yellow harness for the airbag. Can't see it because it's like right there. Let the steering wheel drop down a little bit because I gotta move that thing out of the way. So that thing is right here. So there's that screw right back there. Yeah, it's easily removable. I think you go in through this angle. So I'm gonna just remove those screws first. So yeah, there you go. That's the old ignition switch. That's one screw in that top hole there, and then there's the other screw in the bottom hole, and that's about it. There's that big connector. Here's the new one. If you guys care about the part number, that's what that is. So yeah, anytime when you know, these ignition cylinders, they get jammed or whatever, you just pop off the cover, remove this, right? Bust off your breakaway bolts on the steering wheel lock, and then just stick the key where it reads the immobilizer, right? And then you can just turn it with a screwdriver to start your car and then drive the car in. That's usually how I do it when I you know, have a customer that is unable to turn their key in their ignition lock. So yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna put that in, and then I'll call it done. So everything's just reverse order of removal, I guess. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. And by the way, for the New Year's, I'm an uncle. My sister gave birth on December 29th. So close to New Year's. But yeah, anyways, I'm an uncle.